been following along for a bit, you know the story going on here. I got some shit running through the fuel system, and it happened last year too. Different reason last year, same symptoms this year. And the problem I've found is basically a trial and error thing and a little bit of neglect on my part. I'll take the belt whipping on this because I wasn't real diligent with my methanol fuel system maintenance, and it bit me. So that's what we're fixing now. And I'm going to show you what I found, and then I'm going to go through what I'm going to do to fix it, and then we'll get this thing back to the track. So here's what we're working with. The KBS COATINGS cycle tank kit. They give you enough stuff here to do a 5-gallon, up to a 5-gallon tank. We only got about a gallon we're dealing with here. But I'm going to do the process by the instructions, and I'm going to get the inside of this coated. They swear methanol is not a problem. It's been done before, and it holds up just fine. They're calling it an impermeable coating. So they're saying that no solvents, fuels, nothing will get through the coating once it's inside the tank. Therefore, the tank can no longer corrode. So we're going to start with the cleaner first. I got to go get myself some hot water and mixed up 1-to-1, and we'll fill this up with the hot water and the cleaner, and then we got to rotate the thing around just at intervals. I'll probably take an hour to do that. I'll take probably an hour to do the etch, and then we're going to have to put the coating in after everything's dry. Put the coating in, then we got to keep tumbling the tank, get the coating to roll around, and then the excess will drain out. But for now, we'll get started on just doing the cleaner. So they say mix it 1-to-1, hot water to cleaner in the tank. So we're going to dump those in, and we're going to rotate it.
And even though we're stuffed to the gills, we are contractually obliged to show this for recipe. So here it is. Has a very interesting history. Please bear with me on this. It started life as a cheese and ham toast and a creative vegetable. It was stolen from us by the French as agincourt. But the story goes that the English archers liked to make cheese and ham toasties on the ends of their arrows, which they had earlier on. Because this is English. And that's how the second one finds it goes to the work.
Alright, so you saw me mixing tank around, kind of rolling it, tumble it, sloshing it. The tank cleaner, this is the stuff you dilute it 1-to-1. So I just did it in 2 parts. I did half of this bottle to the equivalent amount of hot water, put it in, mixed it. I did that for a half hour, kept moving it around, sloshing it, drained it, then refilled it with fresh 50-50, the other half of this, and then the rest in hot water. Finished doing that, drained it out, rinsed it, dried it. Drying's taken forever just because you're trying to get water out of everything. All the nooks and crannies, but it got dried. So we're done with that. Once it was dry, you go to the tank blast, or the rust blast it's called. This is just an etching chemical. And the kit I bought is for up to a 5-gallon tank. So obviously we're doing less. But they say to empty the entire contents into the tank. So I did that. And then I'll probably try to recover some of that. And then we could etch it again if we feel it looks like it needs a little more work. But the blast, it's every 5 minutes, rotate it, flip it around, move it around. Every 5 minutes for a half hour to 1 hour. And don't, they say do not let that dry on any of the surfaces. It'll just create an excess of buildup, and it's what you're trying to avoid. You want the things to etch, but not create a bunch of buildup to where the coating ain't gonna adhere well. So for now, I'm just gonna keep flipping this. I got about 20 minutes to go. We'll drain it and see how it looks.
Someone's making a conventional sandwich pie, some chipotle chili flakes, just to give it a little bit of a kick. Just about half a teaspoonful, I think will do it. There we go. And I've also been thinking,
I just finished doing the etching, so I recovered everything that was in the tank, rolled it around, got the tanks all etched. I got to dry this yet. Got what was in there back into a little, measuring cup kind of thing here. And I'm just working on the tube that is where the fuel returns to into the tank. It's just like a little diffuser tube I use, so it doesn't just spray hardcore straight down into the tank and disturb everything. It kind of comes out through them holes and filters out. But I'm going to wrap up tonight with just getting that part done and getting that dried. I'm going to let this stuff dry overnight. Tomorrow after work, I'm going to drop the sealer in. They said you got 10 days after you clean and etch the tank. I'm going to put the sealer in tomorrow after work, and then I'll focus on doing that because that's a whole other process that'll take a little bit of time. And we'll get that done tomorrow and see how this looks. So next day, just got done doing a little bit of a hike. It's 107-degree feel like temperature right now, and this is how I'm going to end the evening. So I'm going to relax and get this tank finished up. All I got to do is take the tank sealer itself, mix it up real good, pour it in, and then just kind of roll the tank around upside down every which way. I have a plug made here out of a, spray can cap and some duct tape that kind of seals that up pretty good. So I'll be able to roll it around upside down. The good thing about when I built this fuel cell is all these fittings are welded, everything's welded flush on the inside. So when I roll this thing upside down, there won't be any like goofy ledges or anything. I got to get them around and, coat the whole, bottom side, inside, everywhere. So that's the plan for now. So I'm going to get this mixed up, pour it in, and then get it rolling around. And then we're going to take it in the house and let everything kind of sit at like, non-humid room temperature kind of atmosphere to dry. So I opted to move the entire operation into the house because it is just too damn hot out in the garage and outside. I think this is like the hottest day in the last like 20 years. It was like 96 degrees and it was like a feel like temperature of like 113 or some bullshit. Yeah, I just want to be in the air conditioning right now. So I'm mixing up the coating here, making sure we get it all good and churned up. And then I'm going to pour it in and then start rolling this thing around. Directions say to kind of work with the sealer for up to a half hour. I don't know that I'll need that much time to get this little tank tumbled around. Like I said, this is enough to do a 5-gallon tank. So I don't think it's going to take a whole lot to get the entire inside of this tank coated. But I'm going to probably, get close to that half hour anyways. Just make sure I get worked around real good. And then I'll try to recover what I can out of here. I'll pour it into, I got a water bottle. I cut the top off. So I can, I'll fill that up with whatever comes out of the tank. And then I'll try to get my diffuser return tube coated as well. But I think we're just about ready to pour this in. So I'll mix it up a little more and then dump it. Okay, bottoms up, little buddy. All right, so for the next half hour here, so 7:30, well, a little before that, I'll be able to pour out what's left. I'll just keep moving it around. I can feel it sloshing around in there, so I know it's still moving. But we just got to get a good coating on there. But they say to avoid letting it sit and pool up real thick in any one area to where it dries real thick, because then it can cause like blistering and the stuff can fail. So we'll just try to avoid that. Well, we definitely got a coating going on. I'm gonna go get a mirror so I can look down in there and look at the top side. So I am now sitting here eating my dinner, rotating the tank around. But if you look in there, it's starting to look pretty dang good. Let's see if I can do this better this way. So all I'm doing, as you can see how the sealer is kind of running down that back wall, I'm just rotating the tank. They say to flip it after you've drained all of the excess out and everything's got a coating on it, to keep flipping it every 5 minutes, just kind of rotating it around. I'm going kind of on every side, letting it sit for a few minutes, flip it, let it sit for a few minutes. So I'm gonna keep working on my chicken here and flipping this tank, and then probably be done probably shortly here. Probably. So the tank's been sitting overnight. I was up till about 10 o'clock last night, just sitting in the kitchen in the air conditioning, rolling the tank kind of just side to side, upside down, bottom, whatever. Every 5 minutes, I just kind of would give it another flip. And it took about maybe an hour of constantly flipping it before the stuff started to settle enough that it was no longer, kind of like running down the walls in the tank. So a good hour of flipping every 5 minutes, and it seemed like it started to set up pretty good. I left it sit overnight. This morning, it's dry enough that you can touch it, but they say it takes 96 hours for this to cure fully. So I'm going to give it that full 96. So that'll take me through probably about Sunday into Monday before I start putting this back together. And then I might give her another extra day before I put fuel in it. But okay, let's see if I can show you here an easy way. See, there's a shadow in the back corner there from the diffuser for the return, but otherwise you can see it's coated all the way around, and it's like a very, it's a very smooth, very it feels like a very hard coating. So I can see why they say that it's like impermeable to any other fuels and solvents. But that's it. So I literally have sweat running off me. It is 100 degrees in the garage right now. I'm going to take the tank back in the house and let it finish curing until probably Monday at this point. But this whole deal, this bike is my first experience with running anything on methanol. I've never had anything on methanol before this. And when I made the switch, thought I was asking the right questions. I was asking people that, we got some fast, small tire, no prep stuff up here. I was asking those guys that are running methanol if they had their tanks coated. The consensus was, don't worry about it, just keep it full and keep the vent covered so it can't draw in moisture and air, and that's what causes the corrosion. Full disclosure, I didn't do that all the time. This whole scenario with this corrosion going on in the tank, I made it, 3 years at this point, by doing kind of the bare minimum. I was slacking off. I just didn't do the due diligence of the maintenance to keep that cell from starting to corrode. And then the pump that I run's got a sock filter in the tank. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me. It's only a 100 micron filter. So that corrosion in the tank, there's some decent sized bits of debris and aluminum molecule and granules basically that got through that filter and ended up in the fuel system. So that's what we've been dealing with. And I take full responsibility. I'll take my belt whippings when it's necessary for slacking off. I created this problem. So I'm gonna try to address it, and we'll go forward from here, and we'll see kind of a cool little test here. We'll see if I have any side effects or drawbacks to doing this coating. Best I can tell, I did it exactly how they tell you to do it, and the coating inside the tank looks perfect. They say if you do anything incorrectly in the steps, you can get bubbling, and the coating's not adhered to the material inside the cell all the way around. If you get that bubbling going on, the bubbles are going to pop, and you're going to have fuel getting between the coating and the tank, which you don't want. So from what I can tell, I did everything right, and that coating looks really good inside. So I'm pretty confident that this is going to work. If not, I'll build a whole nother cell, and we'll go the hard anodized route. But yeah, when I started asking if it needed to be hard anodized, and I got the reply of, nah, just keep it full and don't let the air and moisture get to it, I'm like, good enough, I can do that. I didn't do that, and now I'm paying for it. But we live, we learn, and that's kind of the fun part about doing this like racing stuff is figuring out how to do things different and trying stuff that's different. So as far as I know, nobody else running methanol on a motorcycle with an aluminum cell has done this coating. I could be wrong, but not everybody's put it on YouTube, and even fewer people want to talk about it. So I'm going to put it out there as this is a possible solution for you guys that are running methanol. If you're worried about, I don't know what that was. If you're worried about the potential, corrosion aspects of methanol kind of starting to break down the aluminum a little bit, here's maybe your answer. So for $50, you can do up to 5-gallon tank, and you're good to go. So for now, I'm gonna take that back in the house, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. And I think maybe over the weekend, we'll start putting stuff back together. Like I said, I'm not gonna put fuel in it until probably next week, but I can start putting things together if the weather makes a change here. It's hot and humid, and this is terrible. So thanks for watching. Hope this makes sense and gives you an idea of something you can do if you need to coat a fuel cell.